Hello, welcome to this Monday's Daily Homeroom. For those of y'all who are new here, this is something we're trying to do to keep us all connected as we have these school closures going on throughout the world. Many of y'all know Khan Academy, we're a not-for-profit with a mission of providing a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. And when we found out that the school closures were happening, we realized that we had to do many things. That as a not-for-profit with this mission, we had to step up to support you, students, parents, and teachers any way we could. So we had already, over the last many years, we could have never foreseen this situation. We had built content. There's Khan Academy Kids, which is for the young crowd, ages 2 to 6, in reading, writing, social emotional learning. And then on Khan Academy, not Khan Academy Kids, you can continue on in math, English and language arts, the sciences, humanities, SAT practice. And we realized that we should also do things that can help structure your day. So we released some of those daily schedules out a couple of weeks ago that we've heard good feedback from all of y'all. We've been doing parent webinars, teacher webinars, and we are doing this Daily Homeroom, which is a place to answer any questions you might have. So as you listen, definitely, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, type in questions for myself or our guest. This is going to be Adam Green from our content team. And we're going to try to answer as many as we can over the course of the next few minutes. I do want to give a special thanks to several corporations who have stepped up in the last couple of weeks. Khan Academy is funded with philanthropic donations. And we were running at a deficit even before our traffic spiked by 2.5, 3x over the last couple of weeks. And Bank of America, followed by AT&T, Google.org, and Novartis have really stepped up and helped us close some of that gap. But I do want to emphasize any corporations listening or any individuals listening, every dollar matters. We are still running at a deficit, and we want the resources to be able to support you as well as possible and folks who are not in a position to donate so that everyone has access to things that can bridge them through this time period. So keep putting your questions in on YouTube and Facebook, and I'd like to introduce our guest, Adam Green, who's the head of our U.S. content on Khan Academy. Adam, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks, Sal. We're also joined here by Pistachio. I know some of the folks in the office. Pistachio usually comes into the office with me, and I know that they're missing her, so I wanted to say hello from her. And also there's a neighborhood cat that she usually likes to bark at about this time of day, so this is the best way to make sure that she's not going to be barking during this conversation. But great to see you. Thanks, Sal.
Yes, I have mixed feelings towards Pistachio. One of the cutest dogs I know, but I think it knows it, and so doesn't always give me the attention that I think I deserve.
Treats are the way to go.
Treats, yeah, bribery. I don't normally pay for. Anyway, what Adam? Maybe a good place to start for everyone listening is what do you do here at Khan Academy, and what does the content team do here at Khan Academy?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, so I lead the content team, the U.S. academic content team, which basically means I work with about 15 people that are all really amazing content experts in everything from math to science to humanities, social studies, English language arts, and we all work together to build all the great content that you see on Khan Academy for those core courses.
And how does it work?
We're constantly working to add more. Go ahead, Sal.
Yeah, well, actually, go on adding more. One question I always get is, well, how does Khan Academy determine what content to add? And then how does it go about adding that content? Like, what's the day in the life of a content team member here at Khan Academy?
Sure. I think that's one of the things, if you were to ask a content creator, that's one of the things that they really like about the job is that there's all sorts of different things that can be happening depending on where you are in the life cycle of a course. So we do a lot of research to figure out what really do learners and teachers need out there. So everything from surveying teachers to looking at lesson plans that are out there to looking at state and national standards to see really what can we provide on our platform that can be of highest use to learners and teachers out there. So we do that research phase, and then there's a whole series of different phases for content building, depending on what type of content we're actually working on. If it's videos, articles, exercises, all of those go through a pretty stringent review process, both internally and externally, as we create those resources. So we'll be building them as a team. The math team will get together and decide, hey, we need to do more geometry. We have to add geometry exercises in the next couple months. That's what we've determined. will be the most use to teachers and learners out there. So they'll start to build that, they'll build a plan, then they'll be building those exercises, reviewing them internally, and then sending them for external review to trusted teachers and other folks out there, other content experts. And then we'll publish them on the site. And then we're not done there. We get a lot of feedback from folks like the folks that are watching this YouTube live stream right now. We look at every single one of those pieces of feedback that we get from folks out there, and then we'll take that into consideration when we work to improve the content that we've put out.
And what's in the queue right now? What can users out there expect to see, either improvements or new courses over the next couple of months?
Yeah, great question. So we're some of those we're pushing out more quickly than we originally anticipated. We had a whole bunch of stuff planned for the summer, and some of those things we're releasing earlier because of this crisis that we're in right now. So you might have seen we have new AP Biology and AP Chemistry content that's out there to help students with AP courses. We have all sorts of English language arts content that's been coming out and will continue to come out over the next couple of months. And we have big refreshes on the math side in geometry and in algebra. And those are sort of the big projects that are happening right now. And in the pipeline, we have all sorts of other projects for improvements in physics, AP Physics 1. And also we're looking to build a civics course that hopefully the first part of that civics course should be out this summer. And then we have a whole new world history project that we've developed in partnership with the Gates Foundation. And that's actually hopefully going to be coming live tomorrow on the site, which is very exciting.
Oh, it's all of this is very exciting stuff. So we're getting a lot of questions about AP exams. I do want to let everyone know that the president and CEO of the College Board, the folks who make the AP and the SAT, he's going to be on this live stream tomorrow, David Coleman. But Adam, how should someone who is thinking about the AP exams, I guess we're weeks away from it now, how would you recommend students typically prepare for it using Khan Academy? And I know there's a lot of consternation maybe about how things might be different this year. What advice are you giving to students, especially relative to how they could use our resources?
Yeah, there's a lot packed in there. So I'll start off by talking about how I would recommend using our resources, and I think that you've had some good advice in the past too on that. And we have a whole support page that we've dedicated to the AP being different this year and how you can use Khan Academy resources to help you. But I think that really the first thing that I would suggest is to make an account. It's free to do that. You can use our resources without making an account, but by having that free account, you can track your progress and really use all of the tools available on Khan Academy that will help show you what you need to practice a little bit more and what maybe you can practice a little bit less to get prepared for the exam. So once you make that account, I think that there's really one of two paths that I would recommend. If you're the kind of student where you know that there's a unit or some topic in the AP subject course that you're about to take the exam for, if you know that there's a particular unit that you need to brush up on, then I would just go right to that unit on Khan Academy. Let's say you're an AP statistics student and probability has been kind of getting you down, then you can go right to the AP statistics course and jump into that unit and start practicing. Watch some videos and articles, read some articles, and then do some practice to get boned up on that, brushed up on those sorts of that sort of topic, and really feel more comfortable with that particular unit. If you're not sure where you should start or you're already feeling pretty good, then my suggestion would be to jump right to the course challenge. Most of the AP courses that Khan Academy offers have practice content. Most of those courses also have mastery enabled features, and one of those mastery enabled features is the course challenge. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of any particular AP course, you'll see course challenge. You can click that button. It's like a 30 to 45 minute investment in time. It's 30 questions. And that really gives you a big survey of all of the different types of questions that you're likely to see in the entire course. Once you get through that, you'll get a bit of a report that shows you sort of how you're doing on those. And it can tell you which topics that we think that you should focus on a little bit more. Keep in mind that the AP format is a bit different this year, and one of the pieces that's different is the amount of content that's going to be covered on that exam. In most cases, it's about 75% of the course, or what most classrooms will have covered by early March of this year. And these course challenges, they cover everything. So in my opinion, you should try to get through all of the content for that course, because that'll really prepare you for the best experience in college if you end up applying this credit to college credits. But the AP exam this year itself will only cover the first about 75% of the class. And you can get more information about what that means, which units are covered and not covered, both in that AP support post that we have on Khan Academy, and also through the College Board website, where you can get really specific details about which units will be covered on the exam and which ones won't be covered on the exam. So those are sort of the two ways that I would approach it. Targeted practice, if you know you need targeted practice, and if you're not quite sure, you're feeling pretty good, then jump into that course challenge and let our tools tell you where you might want to focus on more. But you may have other suggestions too, so I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, well, everything you just said, I think in previous years, the standard AP format is you have, roughly half multiple choice, and then you have the free response section. And I think the Khan Academy, our modality, we have multiple choice, and we also have things like free response, numeric entry, not, long form free response. But that really prepares you historically well for the multiple choice section of the AP. And I think to a reasonable degree for the free response. But what I've always told students is, get to as much mastery as you can on Khan Academy, just as you mentioned. And then a few days or weeks before the exam, go through the worked examples of the free response questions on Khan Academy. These are in video format. And, when I or some other content creator gives the question, pause it, try to solve it by yourself before we solve it. And that'll really help you for the free response. And I think that same combination is going to be really effective for this year, where it's going to be a shorter free response focused virtually proctored exam. But I think either way, as Adam mentioned, that's what's going to make you feel very comfortable and confident in this year's exams. So
yeah,
we have some questions.
Even before you go on, Sal, just to double down on that, not only do we have those free response videos that students can use in that sort of active way to really pause the video, try on their own, and then watch your response to that. In the AP resources blog post that we have on Khan Academy, we have links to free response questions from previous exams. I think for most exams, it's the last 3 years. Those go right to College Board and have PDFs of the free response questions that you can practice with, along with responses and scoring guides for each of those. So although most of our questions in the AP courses on Khan Academy are multiple choice or something close to it, they're all designed really with being able to answer free response questions in mind. They take you through the thought process and the sort of modeling that thought that you would need in order to be successful in the free response questions. So even though you may be practicing and using the mastery system, using something multiple choice or close to it, you're really laying that foundation to have a firm understanding of all the content that you need in order to be successful in those free response questions. So yeah, I would do mastery stuff first, then I would watch the SAL videos that go through free response questions from the past few years, and then finally at the end I would look at those College Board resources for free response questions and try to work through those on your own, and look at those scoring guides and sample responses, and follow in that progression over the next 4 to 6 weeks, or potentially a little bit longer depending on when your exam actually is. You should be in pretty good shape. There's a lot of resources out there for everybody. Plus there's College Board resources like YouTube videos that they're doing live YouTube review sessions for all of the different courses, and you can get information for that both on our AP blog post and also on the College Board website.
Super, super useful. And let's see, we have some questions. This is from YouTube. Pamela Criswell asks, what is your suggestion for the best ways for teachers to use Khan Academy since we have had to go to remote learning? I could take a first stab at that, Pamela, and I'd love to hear what you have to say as well, Adam. So I think there's several ways that you could use Khan Academy before the school closures, when school was in session. What we've seen is if teachers are able to have their students work on personalized learning, mastery learning on Khan Academy, even 45 minutes a week, that has been associated with accelerated outcomes on a wide variety of measures. And that is something like, let's say you're a 6th grade teacher, you can assign the 6th grade course mastery to your students, and that's something that could take all year, so it could take a good amount of time. And so the kids over the year are going to learn at their own time and pace, try to get things leveled up, and you as a teacher are going to get a dashboard where you can see who's progressing, who's not, who's engaged, who's not, who's getting stuck on certain concepts. And then in class time, you can take some of the kids who are stuck and you could do a focused intervention with them. You can maybe pair them up, or you could pair them with a student who might have already mastered that concept. We've seen that work really well. Now that we have this school closure situation, what we're seeing a lot of teachers do is lean on that a little bit more, where they can now expect, instead of 45 minutes a week, depending on the age group, anywhere between 20 to 60 minutes a day of being able to work on their math at their own time and pace. One of the things we did a few weeks ago is we released these daily schedules for students of different age groups. That articulated, hey, for this age group, maybe 45 minutes of Khan Academy math at this time of the day might make sense. What we're going to be releasing over the next couple of days are actually learning plans, where not just over through the end of the school year, but also potentially leveraging the summer, so students can make sure that they have a plan to cover all of the major concepts that they need to be at grade level or above. For students who maybe are weak in some of their foundations, we recommend, let's say they're sixth grade students again, keep going on sixth grade, but simultaneously also try to get mastery on arithmetic on Khan Academy to make sure they have really, really, really strong foundations. Now, as a teacher, one of the things I think we've seen teachers do really well is, if there's a certain time of day, kids are working on Khan Academy at their own time and pace, you can monitor that. But also, if you could make yourself available via Google Hangouts or Zoom or something like that, where students can jump on maybe a couple of times a week, ask you questions, you could work through worked examples with them. And it really should feel like a tutorial, because everyone's looking for that social connection right now. So the more interactive it is, the better. So I think something like that type of flow is really powerful. And also encouraging parents and students to continue through the summer. You know, we're in a tough scenario right over here, where it looks like most of the country, schools are going to be closed probably through the end of the school year. And so there's a loss there of 2 months, but then there's an opportunity to maybe leverage the summer as well to make sure students are at grade level. Adam, anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered that really, really well.
All right, and if we think of more, and you know, all of you teachers out there, a lot of what we are trying to recommend to teachers is coming from teachers doing a great job. So we're all learning this together. So send us your ideas as well. And so a quick question. So Shamil P. Lianage says, do we have content for TOEFL? Unfortunately, we do not have TOEFL content. That's the test for foreign students who need to show English proficiency. We don't have that yet, or we don't have plans for that. Let's see, we have a question from YouTube. Susana Garcia Dominguez says, how can I use your science course to prove that I have mastered middle school science? So I have a few ideas, but Adam, I'd love your take on that.
Yeah, we don't have specific content out for middle school classrooms yet. That's something that we're hoping to work on in the future. But right now, I would take a look at things like high school biology. We do have courses in chemistry and in physics. And if you can work your way through those courses, and we have all of those resources on Khan Academy, that if you're a really motivated student, which it sounds like you really are, then you can watch those videos, read articles, and you can continue to practice those exercises over and over and see new types of questions. And that's going to be a really great way for you to start to build that mastery in those courses. In terms of being able to show that you've done that, I think that just having that knowledge in your head and being able to talk with that with your teachers and fellow students is the best way that we can help support that right now. But Sal, what do you think?
Yeah, I would just add to that. What I've been telling a lot of students is that, you know, some of these courses that are labeled high school courses, you could try engaging in. This is a great time to try it out. I think high school biology is something that a lot of middle school students can engage in. You know, the math you need, you already have. And, you know, you start learning the basics. What is life? What is DNA, RNA? Obviously, what's a virus? Very relevant things right now. I think we're all a little bit more motivated than normal to learn about viruses and RNA and DNA and things like that. And also on the math side, exponential growth. So I recommend high school biology is a great place to go. And if as a middle school student you're able to engage in, it's going to be a great leg up, not just for high school and college, but it's going to be a great, you'll sound smart at dinner parties these days if you talk about how RNA is more likely to mutate than DNA. You'll be able to keep up with some of the biologists out there. So that's what I would recommend. I'm actually even doing it with some of my kids because everyone's curious right now about this. And I think you're ready to learn it, especially if you have that motivation to do so. So let's see, we have from Facebook, Jane Molnar says, any plans for upper division math classes like abstract algebra, complex analysis? So I hear you, as a math nerd, I'm talking to myself in the most affectionate possible way. I would love to do that at some point. Our focus has been trying to do the courses that the most students have the most trouble with right now, but I hope one day we do get into some of the more advanced. We do have things like multivariable differential equations, linear algebra, but you're really talking about complex analysis really is at around that level as well. So I hope we are able to get there over the next many years, but it's not part of our pipeline just yet. Okay, so I have a Facebook, Adam Boobkeri says, Sal and Adam, how will Khan Academy get me into Stanford? Adam, I don't think that's our job.
That's not directly our job.
Not directly our job. What I will say, as putting my guidance counselor hat on, is first, I wouldn't over-index on any one school. It's really more of what you make of it. But my advice generally, and it's great to say, hey, this school or that school is where I could imagine myself, is just be curious, learn as much as you can, do it for authentic reasons. Do other interesting things above and beyond your academics, but don't do it just to be able to fill out a college application. The college admissions folks that I know are good at spotting, engineered applications. They like authenticity, and just to get to know who you are as a person and how you might be able to contribute to the world. And then when you apply to colleges, just be your authentic self. Don't try to be some version of what you think that admissions officer wants to see. And if for whatever reason your true authentic self isn't what gets you in to some school, well, that's probably good. It's like a marriage. If you're your true authentic self and the other person doesn't want to marry you, well, it's good to know before you get married than after the fact. So my advice is just be curious, learn, use this time right now to work on interesting things, ways to help your community, inventions, whatever else. I've been thinking about, wouldn't it be cool if there are gloves that not only protect you from the virus, but kill the virus on anything it touches? I've been walking into the supermarket with like Clorox wipes on both hands, and I go to like the milk, I open it up, and I'm like, not only am I protecting myself, but I'm protecting the next person to open this door. So I think there's plenty of opportunity for invention. Adam, any advice do you have for Adam?
A great name. Yeah, I think that what you're saying rings really true. College admissions counselors and all those folks have seen it all before. They're going to know if you're just writing for them. You should really be writing for yourself. Be yourself, and yeah, just as Sal said, be curious about the world around you, and just be your authentic self, both before, during, and after the college admissions process, and things will generally work out.
Yeah, and we have this question from Instagram. Sarah_Mo66 says, what if students do not have reliable access to the internet? My advice is, videos are a little bit harder with intermittent access to the internet. Our exercise platform does leverage the internet to be able to keep track of what you're doing or not, but it's not that intensive from a data point of view. So you should be able to work on the exercises, get the feedback, and our Khan Academy's iPhone or tablet and phone app actually does allow you to download and sync. So you can do that kind of thing overnight, and then you can have a little bit more consistent of an experience. But this is a major problem. There's obviously a lot of kids, not just in the United States, but around the world, who don't have access to internet. And we're going to, we're not the folks who can distribute laptops or distribute internet, but we are trying to work with telecom carriers and other folks to see how we can help solve that issue. Let's see, other questions that we are seeing. We are seeing, so YouTube, Abel Atanapu says, what can I do on Khan Academy during this time? I don't know, Adam, you want to take a first stab at that? There's a lot you could do.
So many things. There are literally hundreds of courses on Khan Academy that you can play around with. So I would suggest mixing things up a little bit. If you're in if you're in high school biology course, or if you're in fifth grade taking math, do a little bit of work in those courses, but also just sort of look around, poke around, and follow your nose, follow your whatever you happen to be interested in. We have content on there from Pixar, Pixar in a Box if you're interested in animation. We have lots of computing courses on there. So if you're interested in computer science or learning something about programming, you can poke around in there. There's just a lot going on in the Khan Academy universe. And I would just suggest kind of opening things up and looking at something that maybe you haven't looked at before, or something that you've heard might be interesting, and just play around. It's an open sandbox. And I think that you'll find a lot of things in there that will be interesting to you, especially in this time where you might have a little bit more time or a little bit more flexibility to get interested in things.
And I'll just add to what Adam said, Abel, or Abel. This, this bad situation the world finds itself in, there's a silver lining that you now have time, and if you can structure your day, you have every day you could spend, sessions. I don't know how old you are, but you could spend sessions of 20 minutes at a time, 30 minutes at a time, maybe 3 or 4 of those sessions. You could make sure you have super solid foundations in math by doing everything that we've been talking about, not just in this live stream, but in previous ones, where you can get practice, feedback, take that course challenge. If you're feeling a little bit weak in these subjects, you can remediate with things like our arithmetic course or our pre-algebra course. And if you're feeling good, just keep going. Between now and the start of school, I can't tell you enough how confident that will make you in whatever subject you engage in. So that can be in math. I encourage folks who feel they're ready, even at the middle school level, especially at the high school level, get a leg up on biology, chemistry, and physics, because you have the time now, but then a year or two from now, when you're taking those courses and you're taking 6 or 7 courses and you have homework, you're like, oh, I wish I used those 5 months a little bit better. I would also encourage you read a lot right now, and think critically about that reading. I would, even if you're not planning on taking the SAT in the next several months, I actually think the SAT practice on Khan Academy that we've been doing with the College Board, it's not just in math, it's in reading and writing as well, is just great practice in general to sharpen those skills and get you ready for college. It's related to this question from YouTube. Sri Harsha Paruchurhe says, do you guys have plans to do a guide for the GRE as y'all have done for the SAT? And Sri Harsha is very generous. You guys really, really helped me out on this, and I can't thank you guys enough. Well, thank you, Sri Harsha. Unfortunately, we don't have GRE prep right now, but I think that SAT prep is fairly general purpose. A lot of folks have also asked about the ACT. Allison Gabel on Facebook asked about it. We don't have ACT specific prep either. But once again, if you get really good, these things are all highly, highly correlated, SAT, GRE, ACT. If you use our SAT work and get really strong at it, that's going to transfer, I believe, to other tests. So it looks like we're all at time. It's always fun. I want to thank Adam for joining us. He does, a lot of folks think that Khan Academy is still Sal in a walk-in closet, although I am back I'm in my, in our kids' kind of workroom right now. But it's a team effort. And what you see is a finished product of over 200 folks. Adam leads a large chunk of that. And, folks should hopefully appreciate that there's a lot of folks who are dedicating their time and energy to this effort. And I want to thank all of them. And, before we head out, I just want to remind everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, stay socially distanced. That's the best way that we can stop the spread of what we're all going through. And I want to thank you for joining, because not only is this a way for all of you to feel connected, it's a way for us to feel connected to you, which we all need right now. And I'll just say again, a reminder, Khan Academy is a not-for-profit. We are dependent on philanthropic donations from folks like yourself. Every dollar matters. So if you're in a position to do so, please think about donating to Khan Academy. You can see the links at the end. It's khanacademy.org/donate. Thank you so much. Have a great Monday.